Happy Friday, y'all. The topic at hand, intermittent fasting, but specifically intermittent technology fasting. So intermittent fasting is a pretty big thing nowadays. We hear about it a lot. I've done quite a bit of it. A lot of people are getting on that bandwagon because of all of the tremendous health benefits. And what that really looks like basically is just having a break from food, what they call time-restricted eating windows, where you don't eat for, say, 18 hours, and then you eat for 6 hours. Or you have an 8-hour eating window instead of 6-hour eating window. There's lots of different ways to do it. I went through a phase where I had a 1-hour eating window, and I just did one meal a day for a little over a year. All are amazing, but I think if we use that analogy for technology, for the onslaught of the relentless technology that we are bombarded with by our own choosing most of the time, is a really good way to consider how we can reduce the impact of the overwhelm that our sensory systems have to digest all the time. This isn't particularly good. The research doesn't lie. It's across the board. We have forgotten the value of boredom. And that's not just a kitschy or trendy thing to say. There's actually scientific reasoning as to why boredom is actually good for us. So when we think of all of the stress that we go through, typically it's a state of overwhelm. We have too many things on our plate, too many activities to do, too many tasks to complete, too many places to be. That is overwhelm. And that can tax the body and create quite a bit of stress. Boredom is a state of underwhelm. That's where we have options, or I should say, all the options that we have don't seem appealing to us. And then we're left in this place of boredom. But boredom doesn't really find us anymore. None of us allow ourselves to be bored. So when we get bored, something amazing happens. What researchers are finding is that when we get bored, our mind begins to wander. This is what we call daydreaming. And when we start to daydream, the mind starts to slow down, our mood shifts, and we start to think and waft and drift in our thoughts, and that leads to creativity. So those periods of downtime, when we are actually allowing ourselves to not be overwhelmed, but to actually be underwhelmed, that's really important. And it's something that I work with my clients, where when I talk to them, I tell them that technology fasting or intermittent fasting from technology is really important for our health. Now, it's not going to help you lose weight per se, but what it does is it trims the fat from the mind and from the body. Energetically, I should say, not physically. So if we can get this idea that we set some parameters for our technology, in the same way that the samurai said you had to discipline your emotions, we also need to discipline our time with our technology, which means we shouldn't be glued to our phones all the time, 24/7. And there are a few key ways we can do this, and there are some opportune times. One, what I tell people, guys or girls, when you go to take a dump, don't take your phone with you. Don't. Just leave it. Sit in the bathroom, enjoy your business, and don't take your phone in there. Because that's one of the times we have an opportunity to let our thoughts coalesce and for things to evacuate, right? It's a time when we could actually sit down while we're taking a shit and not necessarily be having mental shit run through our head. So that's one time. Another way is to decide to leave your phone in the car when you go to get food. So if you go into a restaurant or you go into a place where you are waiting in line to get food, don't take your phone. Your phone's going to be there when you get back, but give yourself the 10 or 12 minutes without your phone. And we all use this technology, right? A lot of us really rely on our technology, myself included. I'm recording through technology right now. Like, we need it. It's a part of our lifestyles now, but we do need to discipline our time with it. So consider these ways that you can, from time to time during your day, to actually slow down, peel back, and set some times, set some parameters, set some windows when you decide to put your phone down or not be on your computer. Another way to do it is to, when you go to bed, or let's just say not even when you go to bed, right? We shouldn't just lay in bed. I'm guilty of this. Okay, totally guilty. Check my YouTube and watch some UFO documentary before I go to bed. But I tell a lot of my clients, and this really works for people that are overwhelmed. After 7 p.m., turn your phone off. Doesn't mean you can't get on your computer or you can't watch a TV show, but trim out or take out one of the things that allows you to leak in terms of technology use. If you can turn your phone off, that's one less device, or turn off your iPad or whatever other device you typically use. But if there are 3 devices running at night, you have your computer, your iPad, and your TV, take out 1 or 2 and allow yourself to just sit back and relax and let your mind wander. It's so incredibly important that we get back to that state, because when we don't allow ourselves to get bored, insight and creativity suffer. So one of the things Tony Robbins said in a lot of his workshops that I've seen just in videos when he's talking to people, he says that people that are really go-getters, that have these grand visions and they've got too many things going on, one of the things that he has them do is go on these boredom retreats, where he essentially tells them to drop everything they're doing, go to a cabin, no TV, no anything, and just allow yourself to get really painfully bored and sit with that, because insight happens. We wander. We find all of these amazing things about ourselves and about our process if we allow ourselves to be quiet. But we don't allow ourselves. We've forgotten how to wait. And some of the most fun things happen in life when we're paying attention and looking at people. There's something to be said about not losing that skill and the art of socializing with people that you don't know. That gets us outside of our comfort zone. That gets us outside of our little shell that we get stuck in, right? And phones make it so easy. How many times have you seen someone just come into a room and they have their headphones on, they look down at their phone, and you can just tell through their body language they just don't want to talk to you, which is fine. But you should talk to them. When people come into the sauna of all places, people come into the damn sauna with headphones and phones and music playing, and you can hear it coming through. I always interrupt them. And they sometimes like it, sometimes they don't. But I always interrupt them like, hey, bro, did you notice the time? Did you happen to see what the weather was like outside? I interrupt them. I break it up intentionally. And also, I'm usually dying in the sauna at that point. That's usually at the 20-minute mark when I'm really ready to get out. But keep these things in mind. It's really important to relax, chill out, get off your devices, look at people in the eye, say hello. It's really good for our mental and spiritual health in a lot of different ways. So in the link, in the comment section below, I'm going to leave a link to a 7-minute YouTube video that talks about the scientific relevance of boredom. It's a really good link. Check it out. Hope you guys enjoy it, and take care.